Hello everyone, and welcome back to mountmoontcg. It is that time again when a new Pokemon trading card game set is just upon the horizon. And a lot of people, I can safely say, are really excited for this upcoming set, Destined Rivals, which is set to be released May 30th here in the United States. If you're not from the United States, look it up on the internet and make sure when Destined Rivals will be released in your area. So, like I do with every set, it's time to look at what I think are the top 10 cards from the set, give you my opinions on the cards, why I think they might be good, and then if you have any differences of opinion, just let me know down in the comment section below, and we can hopefully have a discussion. So, with that being said, coming in at number 10, we have Yanmega EX. Now, Yanmega EX has a history of, attacking for minimal effort, let's just say that. There's an old Yanmega Prime that attacked when you and your opponent had the same number of cards in hand, and the attacks were free. If you have the same number of cards in your hand, it didn't require any energy to attack. There's been a couple more like that, and this one kind of seems no different, because it's got the ability Buzz Boost. Once during your turn, when this Pokemon moves from your bench to your active, you may search your deck for up to 3 basic grass energy and attach them to this Pokemon, then shuffle your deck. Now, you do have to attach 1 energy to use the attack, to use Jet Cyclone, which for 4 energy, 210, then move 3 energy from this Pokemon to one of your bench Pokemon. A little bit of energy, to save some energy for later in case Yanmega gets knocked out, is not too shabby in my opinion. It just, when you move it from the bench to the active, you put those 3 on, attach return, you're all good to go. And, like I said, moving the 3 when you attack to one of your bench Pokemon in play to conserve those energy is not a bad idea. It just kind of stinks because you can't attack with Yanmega EX next turn because you have to move those energies. There are a couple of other Pokemon in the set. I know there's like I believe a Crustle. I can actually take a look here. By the way, all these translations are coming from justinbasil.com. Go check them out. It's a great website where I like to go to see what they have. Like, there's a lot of these proxies. I thought there was a Crustle in here. There it is. So there's a Crustle that you can move the energy to. It's got Mysterious Stonehouse, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon EX. So a lot of very popular Pokemon EX cannot attack it, so Raging Bolt EX cannot attack it, Dragapult EX cannot attack it, Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon, all these types of EXs cannot affect this Pokemon. And then 3 energy 120, the 3 energy that we moved from the Yanmega, the stack damage isn't affected by any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So that could be a fun idea for a deck right there. But of course there's other, grass type Pokemon in the set. But again, Yanmega EX seems kind of fun, very interesting, so we'll put Yanmega EX here at number 10. And then coming in next at number 9, we have Team Rocket's Watchtower. It is a stadium card. Now, a big reason why this set's going to be very popular is the fact that Team Rocket cards are coming out in this set, and some other trainers Pokemon, like we had in Journey Together, where we had Lily, and we had a couple of others, Iono, N, and Hop. We're getting that again. But Team Rocket's Watchtower is here because its effect says that colorless Pokemon in play, both yours and your opponent's, have no abilities. Now, what is one of the biggest colorless Pokemon with one of the best abilities in the format right now? It is Noctowl. Noctowl, when you evolve it and you have a Terra Pokemon in play, you search your deck for 2 trainer cards and put them into your hand. It's a very powerful ability, an ability that can help you win the game, can help change the game, can help do so many things. This can also stop cards like Squawkabilly EX, on their turn 1 from discarding their hand to draw 6 fresh new cards. Also stops Fanrotom from searching for, those other colorless Pokemon they need to, get the game going. But actually, a Team Rocket's Watchtower can help you a little bit, especially if you're playing a deck like Slack King EX, which I saw a little bit at the Milwaukee Regionals. Very interesting because it has the ability where if your opponent has no Pokemon EX or Pokemon V in play, then this Pokemon can't attack. But with Team Rocket's Watchtower, you can get rid of that ability and be like, okay, I'm just doing 280 every turn. It doesn't matter what you have on the field. So Team Rocket's Watchtower is basically in here because it can help stop these pesky Noctowl decks from finding whatever they want when they evolve. So yeah, it's a pretty powerful card. So Team Rocket's Watchtower is here at number 9. And then next up at number 8, we have another Team Rocket card. We have Team Rocket's Crobat EX. Now this card might remind some of you of older Crobats. Like there was a Dark Crobat from Neo Destiny, which put 2 damage counters when it evolved. And there was also a Crobat from the Phantom Forces, which put 3 damage counters when it evolved. This does something very similar. Bite About is the ability, and when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, you may put 2 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. So this deck is going to rely heavily on placing damage counters wherever you need them to go. There's other thing. There's something else that can work in this deck's advantage. If I can pull it up here just so quickly without... Okay. There's a card called Team Rocket's Venture Bomb. Flip a coin. If heads, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. If tails, put 2 damage counters on your active Pokemon. So this card could work with the Crobat, like I said, if you flip the heads, and then you're placing a lot of damage counters around your opponent's side of the field. I mean, but if not, you put 2 damage counters on your active Pokemon. I mean, if Crobat's playing something like a Monkey Door, you can just move the damage counters anyhow. Probably not going to be too big of a deal. But there's also cards in the format like Professor Turo Scenario, which you can pick up the Crobat, and then you could put the Zubat line down, and the Golbat, and the Crobat. I believe the Golbat also, the Golbat also has Sneaky Bite, is when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during your turn, put 2 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So again, this is very similar to some of those old Crobat lines that we've seen in the past, where you evolve to a Golbat, place some damage counters, and then you evolve into the Crobat, place some more damage counters. Crobat could see potentially a lot of play, especially if they bring back a card like Super Scoop Up, which that was a flip a coin of heads, pick up one of your Pokemon and all cards attached to it, put into your hand, and then you could just keep playing all these. You have like a Zubat already in play, then you just Golbat or Crobat, and then you're just placing a lot of damage counters. I know the Phantom Forces Crobat saw play with like Seismitoad EX and like Landorus EX, stuff like that, where you had an attacker that did like a little bit of damage for 1 energy, and then you just have the Crobat to help with the math to knock out some big bad Pokemon. The attack for 2 energy, it does 120, and then you may put this Pokemon into your hand, discard all attached cards, so that is another way you could get Crobat into your hand. But the best way to do it is the Professor Turo Scenario, just to pick that card back up, put it into your hand. Unfortunately, don't use Penny, because Penny is only for basics. Keep that in mind. I think Taro's the only one that can pick up. Oh, there's also Scoop Up Cyclone. You can run that as well. But yeah, Team Rocket's Crobat seems very interesting. Could be good going forward. And Team Rocket's Crobat is here at number 8. Coming up next at number 7, another Team Rocket card. It's like Team Rocket's cards might be good coming up, but we got Team Rocket's Mimikyu. Might not look like much, but don't let its looks fool you. It's got the attack Gem Mimicry. Choose an attack on your opponent's active Terra Pokemon and use it as the effect of this attack. Now this could be really good. Terra Pokemon do have some really good attacks. For example, one of the most popular Terra Pokemon right now is Dragapult EX. Yeah, for 2 energy, you're doing the same thing. On a basic 1-price Pokemon. That is a bit ridiculous. And let's not forget there's also like Charizard EX. Could do 180, and if your opponent's taking a lot of prize cards, you just go, Gem Mimicry, just knock out any big bad Pokemon that's in your way. Maybe they play something like a Wellspring Mask Ogerpon, and then hopefully you could put, knock out 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, or two of your opponent's Pokemon, 1 on the active, 1 on the bench. There's a whole bunch of stuff that Mimikyu can copy. And of course, we still have like Boss's Orders and Counter Catcher and Prime Catcher that you can get something in the active and then just use Gym Mimicry to copy that attack. Pikachu EX, for example, is a Terra Pokemon that can hit for 300 damage. So Mimikyu has a lot of potential going forward. You don't have to play it in a Team Rocket deck. This is just very interesting. This Pokemon, there's a lot of options to what Mimikyu can do. So I think for the fact that it can hit for a lot of damage, depending on matchups, I think a lot of decks going forward are going to play at least one Team Rocket's Mimikyu just for that. And Terra Pokemon are some of the most popular Pokemon in the format. So, Team Rocket's Mimikyu is here at number 7. Next up at number 6, we have Team Rocket's Receiver. It is an item card that says search your deck for a supporter card with Team Rockets in its name. Reveal it and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. There are quite a few Team Rockets supporter cards in this set. We can go over a couple of them right now. There's Team Rockets Archer, where if one of your Team Rockets Pokemon were knocked out during your last turn, each player shuffles their hand into the deck. Then you draw 5 cards, and your opponent draws 3. It's kind of like an Iono or a Roxanne type of card. But you can only play it when one of your Pokemon were knocked out during your last turn. So it's a way to kind of mess with your opponent's hand if they got a lot of cards, or if you need cards. So Team Rocket's Archer is not too bad. There's also Team Rocket's Ariana, which is draw cards until you have 5 cards in your hand. If all of your Pokemon in play are Team Rocket's Pokemon, draw until you have 8 cards in your hand instead. Now, this is mainly going to get seen play in Team Rocket decks. You can play it in non-Team Rocket decks, because you could draw until you have 5 cards in hand. I think it was kind of similar to Bianca from Black and White. But I mean, draw until you got 8. That's a little bit better, especially if you have a very low hand. There's a couple of other Team Rocket cards. There's Team Rocket Giovanni, which is switch your active Team Rocket's Pokemon, with one of your bench Team Rocket's Pokemon. If you do, switch in one of your opponent's bench Pokemon to the active spot. It's essentially a Guzma from Sun and Moon, where you're switching your Pokemon and you switch one of your opponent's Pokemon. But again, it can only work in a Team Rocket deck because you got to switch a Team Rocket Pokemon with a Team Rocket Pokemon. So you're only playing that in a Team Rocket deck. And then these next two I think are a lot better. So we got Team Rocket's Petrel. Search your deck for a trainer card, reveal it, put it into your hand, shuffle the deck. It's Skyla, for those of you that played Skyla. And then there's also Team Rocket's Proton. If you go first, you may use this card during your first turn. That right there sounds good to me. And then search your deck for up to 3 basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Shuffle your deck. In a world where we have cards like Badoo and stuff to potentially stop you from playing like Nest Ball, Buddy Poffin, Ultra Ball from getting your Pokemon. I mean, we have Team Rocket's Proton if you draw it in the hand. Obviously, if you're item locked, you can't use the Team Rocket's Receiver to grab a supporter card. But if this is in your opening hand, it's pretty darn good, especially if you're going first in the game. And then you can use the Team Rocket's Receiver, grab a Team Rocket's Proton, and set up your bench. And like I said, there's quite a few Team Rocket's Pokemon. We'll get to a couple of those in a little bit here. But yeah, just stating the fact that... Where'd it go? Where did it go? There it is. Just for the fact that Team Rocket's Receiver can get you a whole variety of different supporter cards needed for different situations. That's pretty darn good. Yeah, from gusting up an opponent's bench Pokemon to finding all your basic Pokemon in play to finding a specific trainer card you might need for a specific situation. drawing more cards. I mean, Team Rocket's receiver can seem to do it all. You just gotta watch out for item lock Badoo. That can be the biggest pain in the butt going forward. But we'll wait and see. So Team Rocket's receiver is here at number 6. Next up at number 5 is a card that a lot of people are really, really hyped about. It is Cynthias Garchomp EX, and I can't blame them. Cynthias Garchomp EX is looking, it can be like one of the new kids on the block that can do a whole bunch of damage and has a couple of really, really neat tricks. So let's talk about it. Cynthias Garchomp is a stage 2 with 330 HP. It's about normal for stage 2 Pokemon. The first attack for 1 fighting energy spiral dive, does 100 damage, and you may draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Very, very reminiscent of a Lucario EX that I believe did 60 for 1 and you drew until you had 6 in hand, if I remember correctly. And then for 2 energy, it does 260, and then discard all energy from this Pokemon. Could be, could hurt a little bit, but you're only using this attack to knock something out. Let's not forget, this Pokemon is free retreat. Free retreat on a stage 2. I think the only Pokemon right now is Pidgeot EX that has something that has free retreat as a stage 2 Pokemon. I could be wrong, but let's not forget what can make Cynthias Garchomp really, really good. So let's look at its stage 1, Cynthias Gabite. It's got the ability King's Call. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a Cynthias Pokemon, reveal it, and put it into your hand, then shuffle your deck. So that's pretty darn good. A very useful stage 1 ability. Yeah, that's a key piece in making some of these stage 2 decks work, especially under item lock, where if you really, really need to evolve your stage 1 into a stage 2, you just Cynthias Gabite and just find the Garchomp and just evolve it. No Ultra Ball needed. You're good. Cynthias Gabite can find you the Cynthias Garchomp. You're ready to do some damage. Alright, there is also another fun trick, if I can find it. It's up here, actually. We have Cynthias Roserade. So Cynthias Roserade has Glory Yell. Your Cynthias Pokemon's attacks do 30 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And this stacks. You can have multiple Cynthias Roserade in play, and if you have 1, it does 30 more damage, 2, it does 60 more damage, 3, 90 more damage, 4, 120. I don't think you're going to get 4, but if you do, that's amazing. Does 30 more damage, and so that can stack up really, really well with the Garchomp. Because the Garchomp does 100, then you have 1 Roserade does 130, and then if you have a second Roserade, it does 160, which is about halfway to knocking out just about any Pokemon in the game that's 320 or less, because 160 times 2 is 320. You're knocking out anything that is 320, and then there's other damage effects you can do to knock something else out, so you're two-shotting everything while drawing some cards in your hand. And not to mention the Dragon Buster, if you need to take a really big knockout, 260 plus 1 Roserade is 290, plus a second Roserade is 320, so you can get there without using the Spiral Dive. You can just do it in 1 turn. Not to mention if you have a third Roserade, you're knocking pretty much anything else out. So that is pretty darn good. However, there is another trick to this deck, and let's show you. Cynthias Power Weight is a tool card that states this Cynthias Pokemon this card is attached to gets 70 HP. Gets 70 plus more HP. Let that sink in for a second. 330 plus 70 is 400. You can have a Pokemon in the trading card game with 400 HP. And it's a tool card that's not an ace spec. Whereas you could get a Pokemon over 400, but it's Hero's Cape and it's only one of in your deck. you can play 4 of the Cynthia's power weight. That means you can have 4 Garchomp in play with 400 HP. That is insane. That's just ludicrous. I mean, it's hard enough to hit for 400 damage, but... I mean, it's hard enough to hit for 330, but to hit for 400 damage, that's going to take a little bit of work. 400 damage is a whole lot to hit for. And plus, with the Roserades, you're hitting for a lot more damage. And it's also a Cynthia card. People love Cynthia. People love her indeed. So for the fact that you can increase your HP to a lot and do a bit of damage for a little bit of energy, yeah, I think Cynthia's Garchomp is going to be a new deck to look out for. So Cynthia's Garchomp is here at number 5. Next up at number 4, we have Team Rocket's Mewtwo EX. Team Rocket's Mewtwo is a basic with 280 HP. It's a psychic type. It does, however, have a relevant weakness to Dark, so Charizard can hit this for one shot. The ability itself might not be the greatest. This Pokemon can't attack unless you have 4 or more Team Rocket's Pokemon in play, but we're playing this in a strictly Team Rocket deck, so I don't think we have to worry about that right now. The attack for 3 energy is called Eraser Ball. It does 160 plus, and you may discard up to 2 energy from your bench Pokemon. This attack does 60 more damage for each card you discarded in this way. So, if we get rid of those 2 energies on the bench, we are doing, hold on, math, 280 damage. So you can one-shot a Team Rocket's Mewtwo or any other 280 HP Pokemon. So now you might be wondering, well, how are we going to get all this energy into play? And how are we going to power up Mewtwo? What are we going to do? Well, I'll answer one of those questions. So how do we get Mewtwo powered up? There is a card called Team Rocket Energy. So Team Rocket Energy can only be attached to a Team Rocket Pokemon. And only a Team Rocket Pokemon, otherwise it gets discarded. As long as this card is attached to a Pokemon, it provides 2 in any combination of Psychic and Dark Pokemon, or Dark Energy, excuse me. So this is a quick way to help get the energies onto Mewtwo. You can Team Rocket Energy and then maybe attach something else for next turn, and then you're off to the races. There is also something we can talk about that can get energy into play very, very quickly. There is a card called Team Rocket Spidops. Once during a turn, you may attach a basic energy card from your discard pile to this Pokemon. We've seen this ability before. We've seen it on something like Naganadel and many other Pokemon. So we can attach a basic energy card to this Pokemon, and then we can use something like an energy switch to move an energy to the Mewtwo if we really wanted. But mainly it's going to be for just put the energy on there so we can use the Mewtwo EX, because we can just discard those 2 energy and then reattach them with the Spidops. So that's something we can do. And like I said, we're going to be playing this with like the Team Rocket's Receiver and all those Team Rocket's Pokemon. Team Rocket decks are going to be very interesting going forward. Just because it seems like they have a lot of help. I don't know if this is going to be better than decks like Cynthia or decks like Raging Bolt or Gardevoir or Dragapult. I don't know. But this seems interesting, and it's Team Rocket, so people are excited. I'm excited. Love Team Rockets. I'm really wishing this deck is going to be really, really good. We'll wait and see. I'm a little iffy on it, but it seems like it's got a lot of things going for it. Let's actually check quick. See what else there is. I mean, you got like Team Rocket's Articuno, prevent all effects of attacks used by your Pokemon done to your basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. So that could be okay. There's also, I think that might be it. I mean, there's Team Rocket's Coughing, Wheezing, Sneasel, Zubat, Crobat. I just mentioned the Crobat. Yeah, there's also Team Rocket's Persian. I don't think you're going to run that. There's also Team Rocket's Factory, which is once during each player's turn, that player played a supporter card with Team Rocket in its name from their hand. During that turn, that player may draw 2 cards. You know, could be really, really good if you played like something like Team Rocket's Ariana, where you draw cards until you have 5 or 8, and then you draw 2 more cards, so you can draw until you have 10 cards in hand, which is really, really cool. That's a 6 of your deck, so that's pretty darn good. There's Team Rocket's Great Ball to flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for an evolution Team Rocket's Pokemon. Tail, search for a basic Team Rocket's Pokemon. It's essentially evolution incense for Team Rocket Pokemon. And yeah, look at this. Look at all these Team Rocket's cards. Yeah, a whole lot of Team Rocket's cards that can make Team Rocket's Mewtwo very, very good. So for the potential it might have on the format, we're going to put Team Rocket's Mewtwo here at number 4, and let's move on because I've talked way too long. Next up at number 3, and I'm not putting it at number 3 because someone is telling me to. I'm putting it at number 3 because I think it has great potential, and I know someone named Chris is going to be very, very happy. He's going to say it's going to be number 1, but no, it's number 3. And at number 3 is Steven's Metagross EX, because Metagross EX has a whole lot of potential. The ability X-Boot. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for a basic Psychic Energy card and a basic Metal Energy card and attach them to your Psychic Pokemon or Metal Pokemon in any way you like. Then shuffle your deck. Now, when I first read this, I thought it was Metagross GX, where it was take a Psychic or a Metal Energy from your discard pile and attach it to one of your Pokemon. No, this is arguably better. It's probably better. It is better. Because you're taking 2 energy from the deck, and you can attach it to your Metal and Psychic Pokemon any way you like. So this is great energy acceleration, especially if you have like 2 or 3 Metagross EX in play. You're essentially accelerating 6 energy if you have 3 Metagross EX in play. You probably won't. Probably 2 is the max you're going to get, but I mean, 4 energy, that's pretty darn good. And I mean, for 3 energy, it does Metal Stomp 200. That's, you know, that's not bad. 2 shots, pretty much everything in the format. 2 shots Garchomp if it has the tool. So yeah, you can X-Boot, put the 2 energy on the Metagross, and then attach return. Yeah, you're off to the races here. But that's not all for Steven's Metagross. Oh, no. Because Steven's Metagross is going to have a couple of friends. So let's look quick at one of those friends. If I can find one of those friends, we have, click on it, we have Steven's Carbink. As long as this Pokemon is on the bench, each of your Steven's Pokemon takes 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. The effect that doesn't stack, which is very, very sad. But your Metagross is taking 30 less per attack. There is also a, let me pull up here. Here's a Stadium card, Granite Cave. Steven's Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So that's 60 less damage from attacks. You can also use there's also a tool out there where you take 40 less, but you gotta be behind on prizes. I think it's Defiance Vest. Something like that. I think there's also another Stadium where Metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from attacks. You could play that instead of the Granite Cave if you wanted to. But there's ways that Steven's Metagross could potentially, you know, not get knocked out in one hit. I don't remember what there's the Claydol. What does the Claydol do? Okay, so if you wanted a basic Pokemon that you can attach a lot of energy to and hit for a decent amount of damage, you could Clay Blast. Like if you're going against like one of these Ogre Pawns or something like that, yeah, you can just use Clay Blast for 220 and knock out a basic EX Pokemon if you really, really needed to. But I'm thinking that Steven's Metagross, we won't see its potential right away. I think it'll take a couple more sets when there's going to be some better, you know, Psychic and maybe some better metal Pokemon that come into the format that make Steven's Metagross a whole lot better, we'll have to wait and see. But the potential is there, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that you could potentially, cushion some damage from hits, it's big 340 HP Pokemon, the fact that you're accelerating a bunch of energy per Metagross, I think it's got potential going forward, and it's a nice card. It's a nice art on that card. We'll have to wait and see what the full art looks like. But, again, I'm not putting Metagross at number 3 because someone told me to. I think it's actually pretty darn good. Metagross at number 3. Coming up next at number 2, we have Ethan's Typhlosion. And you want to talk about a deck that's got a lot going for it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, here's Ethan's Typhlosion. So, it is a stage 2 with 170 HP. For 1 fire energy, it does Buddy Blast, 40 plus, 60 more damage for each Ethan's Adventure card in your discard pile. And then for 3 energy, it does 160. Whatever. We're just looking at the first attack. So Buddy Blast, 60 more for each Ethan's Adventure card in your discard pile. Okay, let's see what the Ethan's Adventure does. Pull it up here. Ethan's Adventure. Search your deck for up to 3 in any combination of Ethan's Pokemon and basic fire energy. Reveal them and put them into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. I think a decent supporter for the deck. Yeah. 3 combination of Ethan's Pokemon and basic fire energy? Yeah. Seems pretty darn good. But now you might be thinking, how are we going to get Ethan's Adventure? How are we going to get this card into our hand? Well, look no further than the stage 1. Ethan's Quilava. Adventure Bound. Once during your turn, you may search your deck for an Ethan's Adventure, reveal it, and put it into your hand. Then shuffle your deck. Yeah, the stage 1 Pokemon in the set have gotten some decent abilities to help their deck. We've seen it with the Garchomp that search your deck for a Cynthia's Pokemon, put it into your hand. Ethan's Quilava, search your deck for a Ethan's Adventure card, which will help your deck because it finds Ethan's Pokemon and energy cards, put them into your hand. Even something now like Dracloak, which is look at the top 2 cards, pick one, put it in your hand, put the other one on the bottom of the deck. And we've seen this with like the old Kirlia for Gardevoir, which was like discard a card from your hand to draw 2 cards. Yeah. Some of these stage 1 Pokemon are getting really, really good abilities to help you set up your board state. So we got all that to help Ethan's Typhlosion. But there's more. Because Ethan also has a card like Ethan's Magcargo, with the ability Melt and Flow. If this Pokemon has no energy attached to it, it has no retreat cost. Pretty good ability. But also the attack can be really good. Lava Burst. Discard up to 5 energy from this Pokemon. This attack does 70 damage for each card you discarded in this way. So if we discard 5 energy from this Pokemon, 5 energy times 70 is, hold on, let's do the math, 350 damage, which is enough to knock out pretty much anything except like something with a stage 2 with a Hero's Cape or the Cynthia's Garchomp with the weight added to it. 350, yeah, it can knock pretty much anything out. But now I hear you saying, Hunter, 5 energy on an Ethan's Magcargo. That sounds really, really tough to do. How are we going to get 5 energy on an Ethan's Magcargo? I will tell you. Because there is Ethan's Ho-Oh-EX with Golden Flame. Once during your turn, you may attach up to 2 basic fire energy cards from your hand to one of your benched Ethan's Pokemon. So, not only do we have a Typhlosion that can do a bunch of damage with a lot of these Ethan's Adventure cards in the discard pile, we also have Magcargo that can hit for a whole lot of damage, that can one-shot a lot of things. If we have a couple Ho-Oh in play, we can, put a bunch of energy into play. If you have 2 Ho-Oh-EX, and let's just say you discarded a bunch of energy from the Magcargo last turn, And then you can get 4 of those energy back because you superior energy retrieval. Get those 4 back into your hand. Double Golden Flame onto a Metagross, attach per turn. Yeah, the Ethan's Metagross can hit for a lot of damage. But let's not forget, I could have put the Ethan's Metagross on the list separately because you could run the Ethan's Metagross and Ho-Oh deck separately from the Ethan's Typhlosion. But I think the Ethan's Typhlosion might be better with the Ho-Oh and the Metagross in the deck. I don't know. If you really want to call this spot number 2 all the Ethan stuff, well, you can go for it. I don't know. It's hard to pick one card. Ethan's Typhlosion could hit for a lot of damage if you got those 4 Ethan's Adventure cards in the discard pile. And it's 1 energy on a stage 2 Pokemon, 1 prize Pokemon. Could be really good going forward. So, Ethan's Typhlosion will be here at number 2. And finally, we have come to what I believe, in fact, I think what many would believe, is the best card in the set. A card that we kind of miss, a lot of decks miss. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's a really, really great thing to have in the format, especially when you got things that are hitting the bench. And number 1, we have Shaman. If you missed Manaphy, I think you're going to love Shaman. It's not quite as good as Manaphy, but we will take it nonetheless. Shaman's ability, Flower Curtain, prevent all damage done to your benched Pokemon without a rule box by attacks from your opponent's Pokemon. So, for those of us that have seen Milwaukee, I don't know when this video is coming out, but just seen Milwaukee Regionals, we did see how Raging Bolt went up against Dragapult in the finals, and just basically went, oh yeah, I have Raging Bolt. I'm just going to damage your Dracloaks. I'm going to knock out your Dracloaks, knock out your Dreepies, knock out everything on the bench, because I don't want you to set up. Well, now Shaman is going to come in, and you're going to put Shaman on your bench, and you're going to go, hey, Raging Bolt, come here, I got a secret for you. You can't do that anymore. Nope. Your non-rule box Pokemon in play cannot be damaged when they're on the bench. Now, cannot be damaged, but damage counters a little bit differently. Dracloak can still hit through this because Dracloak is damage counters, not damage. 2 completely different things. If you want to stop damage counters, play Rabsca. But this is a basic. Rabsca's a stage 1. It's what we got. One of the big annoying things about Shaman, however, is it's not 70 HP. You can't grab this with Buddy Poffin. You have to Nest Ball, you have to Ultra Ball for this card. Which, it's another little drawback. But I think that a lot of players, like Dragon Ball players, Gardevoir players, these Stage 2 decks are going to really like this card. Because it can stop not just the Raging Bolt, the Baby Bolt, not the Bolt EX. I hope you know that's what I was talking about. It can also stop things like Wellspring Mask, Ogerpon from damaging your bench. It can stop quite a few other things. It could stop like a Scream Tail from knocking out one of your Stage 1 non-rule box Pokemon, basic non-rule box Pokemon. A lot of decks are going to make room for this card, and it's going to change the way a lot of decks play from now on, how they're going to build their decks, and maybe how are they going to get around Shaman. And I think that the fact that this changes the way a lot of decks be built, and how a lot of decks are going to move and think going forward, that's enough in my book to put Shaman in at number 1. So let me know what you think. What did I get right on this list? What did I get wrong? What would you remove? What would you put in? Let me know down in the comment section down below. And again, Destined Rivals is going to be released in the US May 30th. So go and grab some packs on that day. Hopefully you're able to. If you're able to go to your local store and pre-order some packs, might be wise to do so. I hope you guys pull some really, really cool cards, some really cool alternate cards. I think some alternate cards look fantastic. They look really cool, those arts. Man. I just want one of the Team Rocket alternates. But anyhow, moving on. Thank you very much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, and be sure to join us for some more awesome perks right here on Mount Moon TCG.